Welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly gaming podcast releasing every Thursday. I am your host, Alex Stadnik, and as always, I am joined by my illustrious co-host, the one and only Alex Van Aken.
Hello, thanks for having me, Alex.
Thank you for being here. Join us each episode alongside a rotating crew of GI editors and special guests from around the industry, where we break down the latest big news, reviews, and all the big man swag your eyes and ears can handle, which is quite a bit.
Yeah, I've gained a lot of weight in the last 2 months, Alex. It's not good. There's too much big man swag. Need to lose a little.
There's no such thing.
Okay.
We just gotta, you took the right steps yesterday, right? You went to the gym.
I did.
Well, there you go. Yeah. That's what this show's about now, our weightlifting routines. But anyways, what we're actually talking about today, we're breaking down our thoughts on some Pokemon Legends Arceus news, Back for Blood, and so much more. But first, let's introduce the rest of the panel. We got two special guests because the king of late night decided to grace us with his presence. John Carson is here in the building. Hello, sir.
Hey, I'm working on my big man swag. Thank you for inviting me onto the Gain Informer show.
Yes!
There we go.
Let's go.
I mean, we just launched 2 other podcasts. Maybe we can just launch a third,
That's true.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't have one yet.
Why not?
I mean, I don't know anything about, working out, but I can make grilled chicken,
You just gotta lift things,
white rice.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's all you need. That's all you need. And joining us again for the first time in, I think we said a year, but around there. Kahlief Adams in the building again, creator of Spawn on Me. Hello, sir.
Oh my God. I'm so excited to be back with you all. I mean, having played, and checked out all the coverage, not having played, but having checked out all the coverage you did on Saints Row, and now hearing all this big man swag conversation. Now I'm in Saints Low because I've gained a lot of weight during the time that I've been there. And as a person who literally just came from the Big and Tall store about 48 hours ago, I can confirm to all of your listeners at home that I have now gone up from a 44 to a 46 waist. So I am doing nothing but going in the wrong direction with my life. But it's been fantastic to be here with you today. I'm excited to
look at this man, though. Still glowing, still shining. He's a beautiful man. We all are.
In his beautiful studio, which puts our
Yeah.
work from home situation just to shame.
I have a ladder behind me.
This is what happened. The shine is baking grease. The situation behind me is a really, really nice wife that said you can use your tax refund for evil purposes.
Hell yeah.
So shout out to baking grease and my wife in the same.
Oh, for sure. So it's been, like I said, we had you on about a year ago or so. Life looks very different for you, and you've had a lot of wins over the last year, I would say. Can you tell our viewership, what's the deal with Spawn on Me? What's new in the last year? What are some of the awesome stuff you've been doing?
Yeah, it's been a really interesting year. It's been pretty fantastic in terms of growth for us. If you're not familiar with the show, I like to call us the premier podcast spotlighting people of color in the video game industry. We've been doing that for almost 9 years now.
Wow.
It'll be 9 in January, which is wild to think about. I think I had hair back then. It was cute. I was probably around at least a waist 38 at that point. I was not even, that was like 3 kindergartners ago in terms of children's size for that kind of stuff. But it's been a pretty fantastic year. We did a lot of cool stuff this year with Twitch. We were on a billboard in my hometown of Times Square, back home in New York, which was wild. We continuing to do fantastic things with them, with the activation we're doing right now with the NFL and Twitch. We're streaming Thursday night games with them. Doing cool stuff. We've won some awards. We've been in some cool places. I've gotten to host things like the DICE Awards in this year. It's been a really wild time for me and our Chicago family. So, and that's all because of folks like you and the audiences we have here that are coming to us and giving us good vibes and giving me good places to kind of grow and figure out all that stuff with this new Studio A, as I like to call it.
Studio A, huh?
Studio A. There's a Studio B that's coming soon.
Okay.
But that's a call out to all the other people in the world. I'm like, sponsors, help! But yeah, there's a Studio B in the works coming up soon, so we'll figure that out too.
Nice, cool.
Yeah.
Is there one highlight you value most over what's happened over the last year? Like, is there a moment you're like, I made it, like I did this, you know?
There are there's three. I think the Billboard thing was really big just because as a New Yorker, born and raised in the Bronx, like you never expect that to ever be a thing. I'm like, on this, and it was like on Broadway side of the street too, which is a really interesting way to denote where it was, because that's like across the street from where like MTV's Total Recall Live was, and that kind of stuff. And again, like when I was growing up, like that's the pinnacle of like you ever get to Times Square, you've done something huge. So that was really big from a visibility standpoint and from a kind of just like holy crap mama I made it moment. But for me in the kind of industry space, there's two things. One I can't talk about that's coming up soon. Which is going to be amazing. And then hosting the DICE Awards was a really big thing for me. I don't think a lot of people understand how much reverence I have for the AIAS and the work that they do. And getting a chance to co-host with Jessica Chobot and Greg Miller, but also having like literally a section that was mine. I got to co-host the main show, but a thing that a lot of people don't remember is that there were 25 panels that I hosted in a matter of 2.5 days.
Wow.
That was filled with literally every big name that you can think of in the gaming industry. Like anyone that you can think of that is made a game that you loved in the past couple of years was either on that panel or one of those panels, or got the chance to speak to them and then give one of them an award for the work that they did through the DICE Awards was wild. Like getting a chance to give Ed Boon an award, who's like my hero.
Wow,
like,
yeah.
I love Ed Boon and I love Mortal Kombat and what he's put into the world, and then getting a chance to talk to folks from every aspect of the gaming industry. That was huge for me because that was the thing that never had been done before. It's the first time the DICE Awards had a black host. So like getting a chance to do that, that's huge. Getting a chance to do that and then, doing Games Beat and stuff like that this year has also been really, really huge. So for me, it's always about like, are we breaking new ground? Are we doing new stuff? Am I able to kind of connect with the other audiences in other podcasts and other places? And then also kind of, again, showcasing that like we're in this space. We're continuing to do good work here. And we may think that the space is moving with lightning speed, but it is in some ways and not in others. And I get a chance to kind of help move that lineage along with the work that I get a chance to do with Spawn on Me and the hosting stuff I get a chance to do. So yeah, it's been a fantastic year. I'm hoping that we continue to kind of do that in 2022 as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely love to see it. Sharing the wins on the GI show, baby. I love it.
Hey.
Speaking of that, you also had a bit of a career change, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I did. I was working over at Intel. Probably the last time we spoke was I was still over at Intel because I'd worked there for a couple of years at that point.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I was doing work in the kind of marketing space, and it was like a hybrid position where I was doing marketing and DEI stuff. And then in the past couple of months, I moved over to Riot Games, and now it's a fully fledged DEI position within their partnerships vertical. So it's even cooler because I get to kind of think about and mold the ideas of how do you partner with organizations and companies from a diversity and inclusion perspective with a company as big as Riot, right? That has so many fantastic games in it, Valorant and League, and now some of the stuff they talked about with Arcane coming out really soon. Like it's a chance to really poke at culture in a way that you don't get a chance to do in the gaming space, which I think for the work that I've done at Spawn on Me has always been a kind of like foundational part of it, is saying we are the culture when it comes to POC and underrepresented groups, and now getting a chance to kind of massage that and figure out ways to connect those two in my 9-to-5 job and in my podcasting life is pretty humbling. I'm not gonna lie and say, hey, I deserve to get good jobs and good money and blah blah blah. Like I as a person who was always told from a very young age that you may not be that cool kid, you may be all right. It's fantastic to see, just like when you continue to push, when you find a good lane, when you try to figure out good ways to make people feel seen, that you can find a space in the video game industry and one that hopefully will have long legs and continue to grow in this way. So I feel very lucky. I feel very blessed. I feel very happy and excited to continue to figure out good ways to be a good human in these spaces and make people see dope stuff.
Yeah, I think.
Have you excelled any further with Tristana in the bot lane?
I now know how to click with the left mouse button.
Okay, yeah, that's important.
Good skill.
I've learned how to not die as quickly.
Okay, yeah.
And now I know how to ward things, which is great.
That's great. Your visibility score is going up with all the other wins you got going on.
It's interesting because I have way more wins in Wild Rift than I have in actual league yet.
Yeah.
But it has been really interesting, and to be able to, again, like as a person who's played kind of on the periphery, like my main MOBA for a long period of time was Paragon from Epic, and then that died and went away, and now going back to what a traditional MOBA looks like, both in the mobile space and now on the desktop space, it's been really good to have the foundations there of like, I know what I'm supposed to do and I know how all these systems work. Now it's like getting my old man hands and brain to work to get it to actually do what I need to do in real time. That's the actual problem right now. It's like, hey, Ka, that mouse that you used to use that was fine. Now you got old ass hands.
Yeah.
Old ass hands means you have potential carpal tunnel. And then potential carpal tunnel means that you can't do things for long periods of time. So it's like, now I just pine for youngness. I just pine for people to be like, can I borrow some of your DNA?
Yeah.
Do you have lotion for these old crackled hands? Because I can't do what I want to do in real time anymore. Oh my eyesight. What is that? Is that a bot lane? What is happening? It's that kind of stuff now more than anything else. Where it's like my body is failing me more than the actual game stuff.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
I'm never gonna get old. I'm gonna stay 27 forever.
Stay 27 forever, please. If you can do it, please do it.
Even then, my body's already failing me. We're not gonna turn it.
Don't even talk about it, dude. I'm turning 30 in a month.
I moved and my back went out for like a week. It was a whole thing. Anyways,
if you ever do a MOBA show, you just got to call it Lane Informer, and then you're good.
There we go.
Another banger. All right.
Yeah.
See?
Podcast after podcast after podcast. We love it. Finally, we'll get into the news really quickly, but I'd be remiss. I feel like any platform you're on, you need a little section to dunk on Paris and his cooking. So if you want to take the opportunity now, I invite you to do so. You can save it too. But
look, I would say this for every listener. Please put your ears really closely to whatever device you're listening to. I, as a representative of the clan that can cook, of the folks who understand what seasoning means to food, understanding that you just can't microwave fish, and understanding that when you try to make things that are for the culinary arts, you cannot put them in the hands of a man who made a controller that didn't even make a really good color scheme. It's Lakers colors for that matter. He tried to roast me on international TV with a Lakers controller. Like, who does that? They have Russell Westbrook. Who cares what his thoughts are on food? In any of those
that's clown shoes, you know.
That's like, you shouldn't even be in the gaming industry at that point. Like, they should just kick you out.
Wow.
Anyone who's been paying attention to the wonderful work that Paris Lilly has done, and the amazing ways that he has grown, in his fantastic show Gamer Tag Radio, and the stuff he's doing Kind of Funny with XCast, those are all beautiful accolades. That man can't cook his way out of a plastic bag. It is unreasonable that they let that man near fire. Don't let it happen. That's all I'm going to say.
We'll have to get Paris back on for a rebuttal, but
please,
yeah. I love it. Well, Ka, thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you. Man.
Let's talk about games, huh?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure, let's do it. So we got a bit of news that I think would appeal to. Well, we'll see if it appeals to people. But Pokemon Company recently is gearing up for Poke season, as it's being lovingly referred to as, with Diamond and Pearl remakes, which we'll talk about in a bit, but also Legends Arceus, the open world Pokemon game, is coming in January. So what, 4 months away? Something like that? 3 or 4 months away? Regardless, it's nice and close, which is exciting. But we learned a little bit more about what the actual world is going to entail this week. Kotaku spoke to the Pokemon Company and confirmed a report that Pokemon Legends Arceus will feature Monster Hunter-like exploration. This news comes after fans noticed that the in-game map features segmented areas like the one seen in Sword and Shield, rather than a wide open map that indicates the game will be fully open world as previously believed. in Pokemon Legends Arceus Jubilife. Is that how you pronounce that?
Jubilife. I guess.
Jubilife, yeah.
Joe Jubilife.
Joe Jubilife, yeah.
I had that once.
Yeah. I think there's a cream for that actually. But, the village will serve as the base of surveying missions after receiving an assignment or a request and preparing for their next excursion. Players will set out from the village to study one of the various open worlds of the Hisui region. After they finish the survey work, players will need to return once more to prep for their next task. We look forward to sharing more information about exploring the Hisui region soon. So, and that the lovely Jay Guisao, the incomparable Jay Guisao, wrote that up for Game Informer. Go check out the article.
Shout out to Kotaku for the scoop.
Yep. Thank you, Kotaku. That is different than I think we all were expecting, because I think we all were like, the open world Pokemon game, it's coming, it's here. And there's aspects of it, right? But I know, Alex, you were really hoping for full open world. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I think, listen, I'm the guy, I see a stylized grass shader in a game, I'm like, Breath of the Wild, that's who I am as a person. So of course I was one of those dinguses who saw the trailer and was like, Breath of the Wild Pokemon. And Nintendo kind of let us run with that for a while. They were like, yeah, just keep talking about this open world Pokemon game. Come to find out, not really open world, but I'm of two minds of this. I've been getting more into Monster Hunter with recent releases. I really liked Rise, and so I kind of like that. Going back to a village, prepping with a friend. Well, in this case, prepping solo, and going out and doing my mission, coming back. But I'm kind of disappointed, if I'm being honest. But I guess I don't have two. I don't have I have Elden Ring as the open world game in January, and then I have a Pokemon game. But I kind of felt like a little let down, but at the same time, maybe this kind of brings my hype back down to a normal level, more of a cautious level. Like, okay, like clearly my expectations were higher, or were different rather than, what we're going to be getting. So it kind of is grounding me a little bit. I'm so excited for the game. But also gives it a chance to be its own thing, right? Like, I think, I have to wait until I play it for myself before, I make any sweeping claims, obviously. And I'm still excited to play it. So
good. Yeah. I'm glad the hype is tailored or, maybe curtailed a little bit. So John, I know you're a big Pokemon fan.
I am.
What do you make of this?
Yeah, I don't know if my heart was ever really set on it being completely open world. I think deep down I knew after playing Sword and Shield,
now the shoe was gonna drop.
Going into like the wild area in Sword and Shield, performance tanked quite a bit. It didn't really handle it too well. So having an entire like Breath of the Wild style open world somehow in me didn't feel right. And seeing the last trailer, like everything was running pretty well. And I was wondering why everything was running pretty well. And it turns out that everything's kind of in segmented chunks, which I think is fine. I also am a big fan of Monster Hunter, and I'm fine with that whole aspect. Also, it's a portable game. You are getting these missions. You're going out, catching Pokemon, hopefully, or confronting Pokemon, and you're getting back out. I think it's probably going to work a little bit better for easy bite-sized play sessions. It'll be interesting to see in a Pokemon style game, but I'm open to what they're doing with it for sure.
Yeah. Now, remind me, you're not a huge Nintendo fan, right?
No, but it's interesting to see how the kind of overall malaise that happens when you kind of think that you're going to get one thing and you just don't get that exact same thing is there. It's also really interesting that they did take this route knowing, well, to a certain extent, let's be honest, Monster Hunter is fairly popular. Like a lot of people have loved this game and loved this series at this point. So to a certain extent, it kind of makes sense that they went this route. Also knowing that, when we think about Nintendo, when we think about large spaces, yes, they've done a fantastic job with Breath of the Wild, and they've done that with some other some other titles, but Pokemon has always felt kind of like in this kind of enclosed sphere, right? Where you're not moving super far out and kind of broadening out the entire world because you want to focus people in certain directions so that they understand exactly where they're going to be able to capture certain things, right? And this kind of leans into the specific types of Pokemon and like, oh, if I go near this river, I'm probably going to catch a water Pokemon over here, XYZ. So I think for now it makes a lot of sense, but it is really I feel bad for folks who are like, man, we're going to finally get that open world Pokemon and now we're not going to get it. So yeah.
This makes a lot more sense for guiding people through the game too. Like, are you going to be able to go to a certain place and encounter like level 60, 70 Pokemon right away and try to just throw Pokeballs at them? And with this way, it can kind of ease you in bit by bit and get you moving through the story and the progression of which Pokemon you get to encounter.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a shame, and I might regret this. I might have to eat crow when the game releases. I'll say this: I'm curious how this affects the effectiveness of exploration in the game, because the big focus is, oh, you're going to go out here, or a focus, maybe not the big focus. A focus is, oh, now you're going to like craft these Pokeballs, like go get some sticks, some wood, whatever the ingredients for a Pokeball are, and craft them together. And in an open world game, that is very enticing. It pushes you to explore, the nooks and crannies of the world. It is less interesting to me in a walled off, more linear space. And that applies also to we've seen like the traversal Pokemon where you can kind of fly in the air, you can, use surf and swim around. Again, a little less interesting for me, at least off the bat right now. Could change, obviously, but yeah, that's kind of like my initial reaction the more I sit with this.
For sure. I think I like this better for them. Honestly,
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it gives me more hope that it'll work.
Yeah, because I think it is we saw it with Sword and Shield, right? It is a jump for what Game Freak did to even make that work. I would really hate for them to have be like, okay, this has to be open world. Where are we putting the towers? Like, where are we doing like, those like checklist type tasks? I'd rather have them like bite off what they can chew and give their vision. You know what I mean? And me as a gamer, I've talked about this on a couple of episodes. I am still relatively burnt out on open world games. I feel like the last year and the year before was just like it was a lot. I climbed a lot of towers, saw a lot of viewpoints. It was a lot. And so this speaks to me a little bit more as a gamer because I'm like, okay, cool, a little bit more condensed, a little bit more focused, still has those aspects of the open world, right? Like we don't know how large these sections are, so like exploration could still play into this, right? So these things are kind of speaking to me. I'm not a Monster Hunter guy, so this is still a relatively new sect or new like genre I'll be crossing into if that is the one-to-one there. So this doesn't like destroy me like some of the people on the internet have been like, this game's not dead game already, you know what I mean? Like I'm excited.
Speak for yourself, man. This thing's dead in the water, right?
Yeah. Is that even possible? Yeah. So
tell me. A Pokemon game's gonna die. Like,
right.
Not really sure, but
okay, there, guy. Yeah. So we'll see. I want to. What?
I said, have you played Pokken?
I have not played Pokemon. I don't think a lot of people did.
Still probably sold more than Metroid did.
Probably.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong.
Yeah. Also, yay for Metroid selling well.
That was not a diss at Metroid.
No, no, I wasn't. So, so yeah, I'm hopeful. I think this is a good, especially if this is like them testing the water and what they can do. If they do this well, maybe that does expand into a bigger map and a more connected map in 2025 or whenever the next game comes out. Because I've been thinking about this a decent amount. I've put a weird amount of thought into where they put the colon in Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Oh God!
No, bear with me for a second. It is Pokemon Legends, colon Arceus. So like, is what?
Yeah, it's not Pokemon colon Legends Arceus.
No. Hold on, let me
just
Well, that'd be a
clarifying.
dumb.
triple
That'd be a
checking.
dumb title
Yeah.
if the
Yeah, I know,
colon was
I know.
anywhere else.
It would.
But my point is Pokemon Legends going to be a series going forward? You know what I mean? So is the next one going to be Pokemon Legends Rayquaza or Groudon or Lugia Ho-Oh? You know what I mean? Like, are they going to use this as a new platform to explore like the history of Sinnoh and Johto and all those the different worlds? Like, so like if this is successful, maybe that's where we get that more expanded world in the next
That'd
couple.
be cool. I mean, I always felt like the Pokemon spin-offs always had some cool ideas to them, even if they weren't as beloved as the main entries. I think of like what wasn't like the Rescue Team that was like a whole sub-series. Pokemon Pinball.
They were doing
Love
roguelikes
Pinball.
before it was cool.
Yeah.
Facts.
Give me more. Also, give me a Pokemon trading card game. The one on the Game Boy was so underrated. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Play the real one.
Yeah.
Buy them cards.
I mean, I could go get my cards and show them
Yeah,
off. We won't
I
do
have
that right now.
mine too.
I have to vent for a
Hold
second.
on. You vent.
Yeah, I'm gonna vent. Alex is gonna go get his stuff. This man, Alex Van Aken. I'm having a lovely Saturday morning. Let me paint you a picture. Lovely Saturday morning. I'm gonna play some Back for Blood with the crew. Right? He's like, hey. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go get breakfast. You want some? He's like, yeah, sure. You mind if we stop by GameStop? And I was like, sure. That's in my on brand for me. Why not? So we're at breakfast, and he's like, yo, I'm trying to get some of these Pokemon cards. There's an exclusive one that I think he has right there. Throw it up.
Yeah, it's huge.
Looks like a coaster that you'd put on
Oh, it's Snorlax
on your table. So this man, I
It's
go to
an iPad Mini.
Yeah, literally. So we go to GameStop. I was like, I used to collect Pokemon cards, whatever. I'll grab a pack or two, right? $3 a pop, $4 a pop, whatever. And he gets me. In that moment, he gets me because then I open it, I get like one half hollow or whatever. And I'm like, okay, this was cool. And he's like, there is a GameStop or a game store by our apartments that like we could go check out. They usually have cards. I was like, and at this point, my brain is starting to like change at this point, and be like, yeah, sure, we can go look. Look at this man. What does he got here? Oh, that's dope.
Oh, is that Rayquaza?
Yeah.
Did you get that from one of your packs?
Yeah, I got 2 of them because, I just got good luck.
He bought him.
As I opened up like my second Murkrow or whatever, he's showing off his Rayquaza.
You don't have to stop the podcast. It's just the video listeners while you talk. I'll show you my collection.
So this man brings me to the game store and he shows me these beautiful packs of cards that are like $40 a pop.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're the Celebrations collection or whatever, because they have like they're thrown back to all the old Gen 1 cards that I used to collect. And of course I have to buy them. I just walked out of there spending $50 on like 10 packs. And then we sat in his car and opened packs like we're 5 years old for like 20 minutes. And you know what? It was one of the best days of the year. I'm just be honest with you.
I love it.
But
It's
now,
back.
But now he is fully got me back into the TCG. I even played the online game.
Sleeves.
Look at that.
It's a problem, dude.
Put those in a binder, man.
Yeah.
I've got to buy the binder first. I'm looking for a good one.
I mean, you got the important part.
I've got them sleeved. I
Got the
don't have a
sleeves.
place to put the sleeves yet.
I
Oh my
don't.
God.
I have mine sitting over there, and I just pick them up and I like look through them, and I'm like, this is like
It's
gambling,
like-
but at least I have something for it.
There's like a couple times a week I'll just come and sit down and be like, let me look at my cards again. There's just something. I'm sick, is what it is.
and you
there's
spread
this
your
whole
illness.
There's always a
It's
pile
a-
of Magic cards on my desk.
I told you not to follow me down this dark path, but look
There-
at this rainbow secret rare I got. It's just
There are 2 things that I'm infinitely happy that I missed on in the zeitgeist of the gaming industry and in life in general. 1, internet dating, and 2, card collecting. 2 things I'm very
It's never
happy I
too
missed
late.
that on.
Never.
Yep.
too
Oh, yes,
late.
it is. You see me? It's totally too late for my ass to start collecting stuff like that.
I'm telling you, don't go to breakfast with Alex Van Aken then. Just
Nope.
don't do it, because be like, hey, you know,
we run a
one
quick
card
errand.
to do? Yeah.
I've seen those people who got trapped underneath a mountain of cards on the A&E series. I recorded everything on the planet, and now I can't get out. Help me. coming to 8 p.m. PST, 5 p.m. Central.
Yeah. I love it. That was such a total side tangent, but I think we're all better for it. So yeah, if anyone can help me, to get me off the cards, I appreciate it. So
anyways, Pokemon Legends.
Pokemon Legends.
Might be a spin-off series.
Hey, where's the colon in the card game?
Yeah. Oh, don't even start. Don't even
really
start.
Quick before we pivot, the thing that I just thought about that's going to make me actually mad is the fact that I know if Alex were to do a segment on Game Informer and like fully do it, it would be so beautiful too. You'd have like this slow pan across the cards.
Oh yeah, dude.
Motion graphics
like coming off the sheen of the thing so beautifully, and they'll play some really lovely music behind it. It'd be
I'm like chill hop.
Yeah, it'll be some chill hop, and then he'll be like, "Hey everybody, I'm Alex Van Aken, and have you ever collected a Pokemon card as pretty as this one?" And I'll be like, "I hate you, Alex Van Aken. God damn it, now I gotta go buy a freaking Pokemon."
Well, Alex's unboxing video coming soon. Hopefully, Shay gets a bunch of those, so maybe
come on, Shay. If you're listening to Shay,
share the love.
I've been dropping hints, dude.
Yeah,
let me get some cards, man.
Man's busy hosting his Nintendo show.
Yeah,
can't bother with that. So that's Pokemon Legends Arceus. We'll find out more in the coming months. I don't think it's time to jump off the ship or anytime soon, but teach their own. So let's get to the topic of the week, shall we?
Let's do it.
Little game I like to call, the world likes to call Back for Blood. It's not just me, I promise you.
It's out today. Well, it's out now, finally.
It's out now. It's been available to the public in early access if you bought the deluxe edition, I think on the 8th or something like that.
Yeah.
It's now officially out on PlayStation consoles, Xbox consoles, PC, and conveniently Game Pass, which is very exciting. And I think Game Pass is going to do wonders for this title. So, Kyle, let's start with you. You've gotten some hands-on time with this now, right?
Yes. I have to give a huge shout out to my fam, Danny Pena and Rihanna Manuel, who I've been playing with a bunch.
Nice.
And we're almost at Act 4. We're like on the precipice of Act 4. And I am such a fan of this game. Like, I know there's been various folks who have been like, I don't know if I like this game, and I don't know if it's really hitting for me. It is hitting on every cylinder possible for me because it gives me right back into the Left 4 Dead mode that I was hoping for forever. The card system is brilliant, and it adds just this extra layer to the way things works. And it feels like, a lot of folks are like, well, is there replayability in this? And I think, the answer usually is, of course, right? But I think what I'm finding now is that because the way the AI director actually throws monsters at you, besides the, we'll talk about corruption cards and all the other kind of stuff there, it really does feel like you never know what run you're get when you go in from one run to the next. And I think that to me has been fantastic because I've gone through runs where it's been amazingly quiet, like half of it. And then I've had ones that are just wild from the beginning. And then you're just like, I don't know what you did to this. Who touched something? Why did you hit that button? I don't know what you did.
Why are those zombies on fire? Stop them. Like, come on.
Them. Yeah. The fire zombies are the most evil zombies in that game. They are the worst. The door. So it feels like, again, Turtle Rock has really figured out again, using what they've learned over the years as being those devs who made that game in the first place, and then figuring out ways to integrate it into kind of this new space. The one thing I do hope that they wind up doing, and I don't know if I maybe missed the menu or haven't seen it, is I don't know if there's any Twitch integration into it. And that's the thing I don't remember. Because if it had that, and if it doesn't have it, and it needs it. Because in what way is the have your chat be the extra card, right? Have them be the folks who are actually like infusing enemies or giving you boosts or changing the way that the game works for you.
That'd be awesome.
That's a fantastic idea.
If they did that, then it would be perfect. So I'm having a blast with it. It is super good.
Good. That's awesome. Yeah. I got the honor to review it for Game Informer, which I've only got to do the last three. I think this is my third review. And really I'm with you. Oh, thank you. I'm never sure until I hit publish, and even after then, if I just like put out a heap of garbage or if this was actually good.
As
But-
someone who's currently struggling to write a review right now, yes, it was very good, and it was good inspiration for me.
I
Anyways,
appreciate it.
continue.
Yeah. So I gave it, you can go check on the site. I gave it an 8. And I echo a lot of what Kahlief has said here. I think it is 100% scratching an itch that I really haven't felt like has been scratched since Left 4 Dead 2. And I did try to judge this game on its own merits, but it's hard too when they're like we've had producers tell us like Left 4 Dead is the inspiration. Like that's what we're going for. And I think it hits on about 80% of that nostalgia and that feeling. I don't think the characters are quite as memorable as like Coach or Bill, from the previous games, right? But I think there's a good amount of personality in those characters. The shooting feels great, and I think that's what's paramount here. Like, and those weapons, the spiked bat is it's a classic, right? You gotta have it in there. And to back up a little bit, if you're just learning about Back 4 Blood right now, the card system is I think what pushes this over into a more interesting experience. And Kahlief outlined a little bit, but it's a system where you're basically every act you're unlocking supply points to spend on these supply lines that then give you cards, and cards can range from 10% stamina boost all the way to gaining temporary health when shotgun blasts hit. And that's when the game started to click for me, because the first, I'd say 2 acts, I was like, okay, fun. Like I'm having fun. But then like I started to unlock some of those cards that would allow me to kind of create a class almost. Like, I'm currently, I have a really good shotgun build out right now that allows me sprint in, do max damage, not take that much damage and get out, and that's really fun versus my other friends who are like starting an assault rifle package or a rifle package. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you start to differentiate the characters even more than they already do, because the characters each have unique abilities. Like I play as Doc, who can give 25 health points back to people, I think once per act or once per section. I can't remember which, but versus some like I can't remember who it is, but one of them I think gains like 20% accuracy or something like that after successful hits. So it's like there's differentiations there, but those cards, especially towards like the middle of the game, really start to unlock for you and really allow you to create your own character, which I really valued and I needed, because this game is hard. I was worried about any time writing about difficulty, people are gonna be like, "You're just bad at games." No, literally, like I've been playing shooters since Nightfire, which isn't that long compared
That's a
to some
random
other
game
people.
to pull.
That's the first game.
Yeah,
That's the first
wow,
shooter.
Nightfire,
Yeah.
wow.
I can't say GoldenEye because that'd be disingenuous, and I need to be true to who I am.
Did Halo release before Nightfire?
Halo did. Halo was a 1, but my parents were scared of an M-rated game, so they're like, "Here, take Nightfire. We know James Bond. We like James Bond."
Nightfire is an underrated game.
Correct.
Nightfire
Also,
was
shout
great.
out to your parents for looking at the box and being like, "This is an M-rated game."
For real. I had to fight that battle for literal years. I finally got him on Halo
Mom,
2.
it's alien blood.
That's
He doesn't even cuss.
You were in my household, it sounded like.
The sexy robot lady is an AI, Mom.
She's not naked.
friend.
She just doesn't.
She is fully clothed, Mom.
It's spandex. It's not.
Her name is Cortana.
I don't even think she's
And I
hot,
love her.
Mom.
Yeah, don't even look at her.
My grandma was like, "Why you got naked white ladies on your video game?"
Oh my god.
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah. Why do we? Yeah. Why is she blue?
You bought
Anyways,
it, Mom. It's your fault.
so where was I even going? I don't even know
Yeah,
what's
I
going
know. I
on.
derailed you. I'm
Build
sorry.
that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Talking about different
Nightfire.
builds.
Oh yeah, the game is
Nightfire.
difficult. Like we booted it up on, I think it's recruit, veteran, and then nightmare. I want to say I didn't even come close to the last difficulty. So we booted it up on the middle one because I was like, we've played shooters before, we'll be all right. Instantly overwhelmed in the tutorial level, basically. And so I was like, okay, swallow pride, go to recruit. And I was able to have more success there. But as the game progresses, even then, that's really hard. And I agree with you, Ka, that I love not knowing what's coming next for me. I do think the balancing needs some work, because there were times, like I talked about, just being completely overwhelmed and being like, I don't know. We don't know what to do here. It doesn't matter how many pipe bombs we throw. Like, it just feels like the world meant for us not to complete this specific mission, right?
Mhm.
But I think it works more often than not. And like, those flaming zombies are absolutely the worst. Like, I hate them so much, and they do their
The
job,
worst.
right? Yeah. But and especially towards the end and the final boss, you really have to. We had multiple times where we had to go back to Fort Hope and retool our decks to really for it to make a difference, and it worked. And that's why I love the card system so much, because if you play the game the way it's supposed to, and strategize in the right ways, you will be successful and you will have the most fun doing that. And then it's kind of a thing where it's like, oh, I'm excited to see what else is in the supply line. Like, I want to replay this act, not only for like the achievements or to get a better, or to flex on my friends and kill more Ridden, but also how is this card going to change things up for me? And it's every time someone asks me like, hey, you want to jump on, it's like 100%, like, yeah.
Mhm.
And it's just such a solid shooting experience that it is 100% one of my favorite comfort food games of 2021, and I'm excited to keep playing it.
How much are you coordinating with your other co-op teammates to say, I am making this build? Because that's one of the things that I'm finding out now, is that, one, I didn't know, even a small pro tip for everybody who's listening, the way that you build your decks out, the order in which you put your cards in are the ways that they wind up popping up in your ability to pick them,
Mhm.
which fundamentally changed the way I kind of built my decks
Yeah.
initially. And now I'm like, oh, I know I need that when every time I melee somebody, I get some back. I know it's going to be a card that I put in the top of my deck.
Yeah.
How were you all coordinating to say like, all right, I'm going to kind of play as a tank here, or I'm gonna try to run something where I have the most ammo that I can possibly have? Did you all do a lot of that work too before going on runs?
Using our cards, but I did say, I'm going to go shotgun here. I'm going to hit I'm going to get that 35% boost in ammo for my shoddy, like here and there, because then I found if we did have a set strategy going in, we weren't having to fight over ammo, which it never got ugly, you know what I mean? But ammo is not as finite as like a Resident Evil, right? But you can't just spray every time, you know what I mean? Like, you need to think about the situations you're in and be strategic in higher difficulty levels and in the later game. So it wasn't rearranging our cards necessarily, but I would let people know that I was going shotgun, and they're like, okay, cool, that means I'll go sniper or assault rifle. And I found
Yeah.
that level of strategy worked well. But we for the last act, we had to put on 20% damage boost to weak spots. There were certain cards we just had to have, and then it worked, right? That level of strategy worked. So I don't think you need to. I haven't played on the hardest difficulty, so I feel like there you'd have to have a militaristic sense of strategy. But for the stuff we played, I think that general back and forth without actually the total minutia of rearranging cards, I think worked well for us. So
I love
and
that.
it made it more fun. Like, it really, really did. And just going on that successful run, especially after you just got murked by the horde, right? It's empowering, and you just feel like, yeah, I am a cleaner. Like,
Man.
I'm a badass. Like, let's get it. So
Yeah, I do wonder
Um,
too. Like, I think one of the things that I would love to see them tweak is, even when you're moving from recruit to whatever the second layer is, the kind of normal default one, is I'm so afraid of friendly fire in that game that it is a
mhm.
huge detriment for me moving off of recruit.
Yep.
Where I'm just like, even if you give me that difficulty with letting me toggle off friendly fire, I think that'll give me the want to at least try it.
Yeah.
But knowing right now how the game will actively get you stuck into corners and actively pin you into places from just a dearth of people running at you, there's not enough bullets in the world to take everybody else out by yourself, right? So you have to try to kind of shoot through people, your teammates often, to kind of get through a section. So
Yeah.
it is really interesting to see how that has really changed the way I think about tackling. When we do a go do a run, it's been real weird to see. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't shoot through you. I need to wait. Like, I have to make sure I'm doing that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and there's cards too. I've only seen one card in my playthrough where it was like it would mitigate that, where it's if you crouch, you're immune to friendly fire. So I think they've thought about that a little bit, but I haven't done runs on that difficulty enough to be able to speak to it. But I'm the same way. I actively stayed away from it because I was like, I'm just gonna blow my friend's head off. They're gonna be mad at me and gonna want nothing to do with me, which fair, but for other reasons. So Alex, we got to play a little bit this weekend.
Yeah, it was fun. It was my first time playing the game proper after spending multiple hours playing the betas previously, and I had a lot of fun. It is delivering exactly what I wanted, barring the versus multiplayer mode. But I think they can add that later if there's enough demand. But the campaign is just so much fun, and I personally like the increased difficulty. Even in the betas, like that ship level was always so hard, but like when you finally beat it, it feels so good. And it just feels good to have a co-op shooter, like a proper co-op focused FPS back. And I am loving my time with it. I'm only really like an act in. I've kind of bounced around and joined other people's games. So but I've had a blast, and I'm excited to keep playing. Like this game is going to be a slow burn for me. I think I'm just going to continually hop in with people and play when I've got my dad downloading it right now on Game Pass. My stepdad downloaded it on Game Pass. Pretty much my whole family, anybody in my family that's Game Pass, I'm like, we should play this. And I'm really excited. I've kind of, all of the bombardment of game releases has kind of like overwhelmed me, to be honest, in the last 2-3 weeks. And this is the game that I just want. This and New World are the two games where I'm like, I just want to like spend some time in this and, come back to it when I can amidst, the hectic, release schedule for everything else. And I think this is going to kind of carry me through to the end of the year and hopefully into 2022. Knowing Turtle Rock, in the past, they used to put out like DLCs, and I think they actually have a plan they've laid out for year one. So I'm excited. I'm strapped in for Back for Blood, and after we're done with this podcast, I might go and sneak a couple games in. We'll see. So I'm stoked. But John, are you same boat as me? Like, where are you at with it?
Yeah, I've only played the beta so far. I've downloaded the game now, so
Hell
I'm
yeah,
one
there you
step closer
go.
to playing it. But I'm going to probably try to find some people to play with. It's a crossplay.
It
You guys
is.
know? Oh,
Mhm.
great.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
Yep. So crossplay over everything, not cross progress though. If I'm
that's fine.
I'm hearing that right. So
Yeah.
Okay.
If you guys want to drag my lame ass all the way through some missions in there, just let me know.
I'd love to group up.
Yeah,
I'd
Yeah,
love
it'd be
to.
fun.
Great.
I'd love
What are
to.
you doing at 3 p.m. Central today, John? Don't
Uh,
let our bosses know I said that. This is coming out tomorrow, so we're
Yeah,
good.
it'll be the past at that point.
We'll
Yeah.
we'll have a meeting today.
we'll ask for forgiveness. Yeah,
There we
exactly.
go.
That's
Yeah.
how it works. We're recording the podcast.
Yeah. Content. Prepping for content.
Content's king.
I love it. I think the last thing I want to hit on is Alex brought up the versus mode, and there's not a campaign versus mode as been bemoaned by the online community or sections of the online world. There is a swarm versus mode, which I passively enjoyed. It wasn't offensively bad. It wasn't the highlight of my experience. It was these isolated rounds of zombies or cleaners versus ridden. I didn't love how some of the ridden played. Like the tall boy I felt was a little clunky. I mean, purposely so, right? You can't have that thing sprinting around everywhere, but like I never felt like I got a good grasp on it. And maybe that's a me problem, but I felt myself longing after a while to I needed that intensity of the campaign missions. Cause I felt like I was building to something there. Whereas in Swarm, you have a set allotment of cards. And that's the problem with solo campaign too, is like you have all the cards. There's not an incentive other than the fun of the game to progress and keep building and stuff. And Turtle Rock, to their credit, has acknowledged that because fans have been complaining about that, and they said they're looking into it. So
Are they looking into the PvP or the card thing?
Excuse me, the solo campaign, I should say. Because when you boot up the game and you boot up solo campaign, it tells you no achievements, no stat tracking, no card unlocks because it gives you all the cards, and it just doesn't feel like a good way to play it. I would almost tell people, and I got lucky because the community was really good that I played with, where I just jumped into solo or I just jumped into campaign and just like, what did I do? I jumped into campaign. Oh yeah, I jumped into campaign, turned mic volume all the way off on myself and other people, and just played with other people. And I thought that was a rewarding solo experience because the people I played with were like excited to play the game, right? You know, they weren't throwing pipe bombs at my shoes and saying run, you know, that kind of thing. Maybe they were and I just couldn't hear them, but so
Like their
well, if you're
AI.
playing on the right difficulty, that won't matter if they're trying to do that. So.
exactly.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
And to be fair, I do want to say, I feel like sometimes we can, not saying that you're doing this, Alex, but I just want to clarify.
Yeah.
Or at least share my thoughts on it. Sometimes we can like dismiss, you know, fan groups online because they can be a bit much. And I'm not dialed into how people are communicating their feelings with this release. So I want to prep by saying that. But I will say PvP was a big reason. It has carried Left 4 Dead. It is the reason why Left 4 Dead 2 is still on the Steam top charts. And I think that when you talk about Left 4 Dead as this big inspiration, our PvP plans are coming later in the year. Don't worry. I think people were like really like expecting, you know, like that versus mode. And for me, it is a big letdown. I'm not going to go and send Turtle Rock any hate or anything. I think the game is fun in its own right. But it's definitely a big letdown. So I can see why people are upset about it. I'm sure there is a sect of the internet that is being, you know, doing the things that the internet is known to do.
Yes.
But I think the criticism or maybe not even the disappointment is valid.
Yeah, and I guess I apologize. I probably did come off.
How dare you?
Curt,
you know,
yeah, than I was
honestly.
hoping. Yeah, because I think people on the internet have real problems and valid problems, right? It's just we usually get the people who are mean about it in our comments, right? And so that kind of colors my experience with that. So
for sure,
I know all online communities aren't that way, but you know,
could be that I honestly haven't looked.
Yeah.
I've been kind of heads down in work, but
no, it's a good call out. So
real quick question for all of you. And there's also a splash screen that comes up when you're starting the game about if you're playing on the online spaces that we will be recording this. Which I thought was pretty brilliant. And I actually really appreciated that Turtle Rock put that in there. I was just curious to hear your thoughts about like how they're kind of tackling moderation. With saying, hey, you're in our spaces, we're gonna record to hear what you say so we can crack down on the whackness.
I love that. Yeah. I do think at first I was like, they're recording me. Great. The NSA is recording me. Like, you know, Facebook's recording everything. Like everything is being recorded. But then I was like, calm it down. Like, I like it. I think more companies need to do it because I mean, we know Xbox has been doing it for years, right? Like FBI has used Xbox communication at times, right? So I think it's good to be upfront with that and just tell people, and then hopefully that puts the baddies in their place, right? And there's that consequence, right? They know that if you are talking smack and you are bullying or being toxic, like there's consequences to that they can literally go through their audio files and go, let's listen to this. Yep, that's not okay. Goodbye. So I think on the whole, it's awesome. So
yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm definitely not gonna like keep Back 4 Blood idling in the background, on like date night or anything, you know. But or just like when people come over to hang out, make sure that game isn't running in the background. But other than that, you know, I'm feeling good. It's a great
I bet you're feeling good. Date night tonight.
God.
John Carson, how about you?
You know, I always love it when people record me. That's what I like to do for a living, and I'm all for it. No, I don't know. I'm of two minds of it. I do like the warning that they are recording you. Obviously, them giving you that warning is a sign that if you think you're going to do something stupid, just don't play the game. Like you don't,
or just like. Don't be a crap person.
That too. It's like you could check yourself a little bit. Like even if they weren't recording you, I would kind of love to see that in most games. Like, hey, we're actively pursuing a way to make our communities better. We are cracking down on this a little bit harder than other companies are. I'm fine with it. It just depends on what they're using those recordings for.
Correct. Yeah.
Reasonable.
In the end, so some
That's a good call.
transparency there would be great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the screen myself, so I don't know what it is, but
For sure.
Yeah.
And I'm curious too, like, does that extend to, because there was a thing where I thought I joined an Xbox party, but the people in game could still hear me. So like I am curious, even though I turned my mic volume all the way off and I turned everyone else's volume all the way off, but I'm curious if that extends to Xbox parties, or whatever
Whoa.
client you're playing on. So maybe a little bit more transparency there would be nice. But it's like like I said, we know that they have been doing it, or Xbox has been doing it, right? Like it's nice to see someone acknowledge it, even though like I think John, your concerns are definitely valid.
Yeah, I'd imagine because of crossplay, it's using some kind of, and this is what I'm just going to throw terms out here and hope I sound smart.
There we go.
The voice over IP or whatever, the VoIP
Uh-huh.
that we see in games now. I feel like they're probably just recording that, and I imagine since it's crossplay, that's separate from like the way the voice is being like processed and sent through the game is probably different than the Xbox party voice.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'd imagine they're just recording your in-game, like what people are hearing,
Yeah.
through crossplay, which would be just in the game.
Yeah.
Good. Because I was talking mad stuff about you in my Xbox.
Perfect.
Oh, all right, folks. Well, that's a good look. Any parting thoughts on Back for Blood before we say goodbye here?
No,
Good game. Turok did a lot of great stuff.
Why
I'm
did it
excited to
exist?
see them.
8 out of 10, right? According to you.
8 out of 10 according to
I'll
your
be
Lord
the
and
judge of
Savior.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Get your burner accounts ready, Van Aken. Reviews on the site, GameInformer.com. Go check it out. Kai, are you going to stream any of it? You can play any
Yeah,
of it?
I'm
Okay.
trying. I'm trying to gather up folks to do it. It's just been so busy of late. I've been trying to find good times to do it because it doesn't fit during like after the normal show. It doesn't fit after the NFL show. So it's like I'm hopefully going to try to get some in this weekend and actually stream it. And do some of that
That's what's
stuff
up.
for sure. Yeah.
Cool. So keep an eye on Spawn on Me and Kai's Twitter for that. So we're gonna take a quick break and we'll get to the playlist. Welcome back to the GI Show. We are jumping into the playlist here, which is, if you're new to the show, it's where we get to talk about the games we're playing, what we're previewing, that we're having fun with. And John got to see a pretty big one, if I do say so myself. John, what were you hands off? You had got hands off.
It was all
impressions of?
eyes on, really. Of two big games, I guess. I don't know which one I saw technically, but went eyes on with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Nice.
The new remakes of Diamond and Pearl. They're coming out on Switch on November 19th. And we did a very quick NGT the other day about that game and everything that's coming to it. That is what they say is a faithful remake of Diamond and Pearl, but they're making a lot of changes to it. They're adding a lot of the quality of life stuff from X and Y, Sun and Moon, and Sword and Shield to those games. So you could see like your attack weaknesses and strengths and all of that. You have experience share, which I know a lot of the commenters on our NGT are up in arms about or very in favor of.
For people who aren't aware, XP share is that so you don't have to swap each Pokemon out that you want to get XP, right?
Right. So
Correct.
everyone in your party gets experience every time you finish a battle or catch a
It's
Pokemon.
the same level of experience. Do you know?
So it's whoever has participated in the battle gets more.
Okay.
One thing that they did mention specifically in the demo was you cannot turn that off this time. So it is permanently on. So if you like to turn that off in previous versions of the games, that's not possible this time. Some people like the challenge of just like grinding out their Pokemon and doing it the old school way. A lot of us have moved on and have like need a little bit more free time in our lives. So more experience for everyone is better in my eyes.
I agree. It's weird that they turn the option off. Like I feel like that's a little restrictive. Did they give you any insight into that or not really?
No, they didn't. And it's something that they've done before. Like they've had it available where you can just turn experience share off or like take it off of a Pokemon. But yeah, this time it's on.
I wonder if that's gonna make for like a more balanced experience, maybe.
It could be, and I know a lot of people are kind of assuming that everything is the same throughout the game, like level wise for Pokemon that you're going to be fighting. But I'm sure they balanced everything that like you're going to have these Pokemon around this level when you fight this thing, as opposed to the original stuff that was in those games.
Yeah.
They did add like auto save as well, which was in previous games. And this time, that one is actually one that you could turn on and off.
Right? Yeah.
It's just a weird choices that they're making there, but it's their game, whatever. Yeah, and they're let's see what other things are they changing in there.
Can you talk about the updates to the underground system?
Yeah, the underground was this weird thing that they had in Diamond and Pearl. You could go to this like cavern and dig stuff out of the walls and make these secret bases and like decorate your secret base in there. It's your own little space that you could have friends come and visit. This time,
do those only exist in the underground areas? Because I know in other Pokemon games, like you could walk up to a tree. It's like, oh, this tree looks different, and inside is a secret base.
They just showed us the underground one, so I'm not sure if there are any above ground for this. But the underground, they're calling the Grand Underground now. And it's actually, they were saying the size of it is about the same size as the above ground content. So like the whole region of Sinnoh, like they have an underground portion that you could just wander around down there. It sounds huge, but there's little hideaways that are different biomes that you can find in the underground to catch Pokemon that might not be the same above ground. I tried pressing them on that and asking if like there were Pokemon that weren't naturally in those games that you can find down there, but they weren't really saying. And they were saying that stuff that was like Pokemon that come from newer generations won't be connected to that game until probably Arceus comes out and they integrate Pokemon Home functionality for both of those games. So I don't know if we're going to see anything like Mega Evolutions or any of the Galarian or Alolan forms for Pokemon. Those were the ones I specifically asked about, and didn't really. They didn't want to share anything with me on that front.
I kicked you off to the Discord call.
They did. They did. They said, get out of here. We're revoking your embargo. Use whatever information you have, and
yeah,
we'll see you never.
Just kidding. Yeah, just kidding. That didn't happen.
Or did it? I mean, we'll see. Actually, all that stuff is on our site now, so obviously they kept me on. But yeah, those games are looking really nice. Do you guys have any familiarity with the Diamond and Pearl games? I know Stadnik, you do not. Neither Alex does. Okay, I'm alone.
No,
here.
I'm. That's
you're not a Nintendo dude. So
that was the generation I stopped playing Pokemon.
Sure.
Because it jumped to the DS, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah, and I didn't have a DS, and so that was the end for me. So I'm very excited, as you can tell. I like Pokemon still, and I'm excited to kind of dive back into that and check out a game that I missed in arguably, or maybe hopefully, a better form than the original, or at least a more modern form. So
it is definitely more modern. They are keeping like a similar art style to the originals. So they're making like a 3D model, but it's still top-down view.
I like that.
All the characters are chibi unless you're in a battle. Then
not sure how I feel about that, but
you don't like the change for like.
I don't know how I feel about chibi.
Like oh,
chibis, chibi characters.
Are you anti-chibi, Alex?
Yeah, anti-chibi. I don't have the same fondness of chibi characters. Like when I was a DBZ fan, when all the like chibi like Trunks stuff came out, I was like, not sure if it's for me.
Are you just against Krillin altogether, or
I'm an active Krillin hater.
What?
Krillin sucks, dude.
Krillin's great.
Stop complaining and come up with a solution, Krillin. You know,
he's underpowered, but he does what he can. You know, Destructo Disc all the way.
All right, whatever. but yeah, I am excited for this, and I think keeping those old school, the old school look intact with like modern sensibility. I'm excited, but
Yeah, it was an
yeah.
interesting choice. That I mean, because other remakes like Ruby and Sapphire on the 3DS did look closer to what like Sun and Moon was doing.
Mhm.
So having this like almost like a backpedaling in how they're presenting their art style is a little bit weird, but it is a different studio who's handling this than normal Pokemon games. They're actually having I think it's pronounced Ilka or ILCA who actually made Pokemon Home, but they've helped out with different RPGs like Dragon Quest 11 or Near Automata. They've been around the block a few times. They know what they're doing, and everything that I've seen from the game, gameplay wise, looks good. So, um, I have no qualms with how they're doing these remakes now.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very excited. Since Alex and I are the same person, I also didn't play this this game at launch.
Well, all right.
And
So, which one are you guys getting then? Which Alex gets which version of
let's
Diamond
say
and Pearl?
which ones we think we're gonna get at the same time. On 3.
1.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Diamond.
Diamond.
Son of a.
Wow, same person.
Same person.
I have to
Pearl
do Pearl
just,
now.
Do your fusion
I'll
dance
get
and
Pearl.
it
I'll
over
get
with.
Pearl.
diamonds are way cooler than pearls.
Correct. I think most people can agree on
Maybe
that, right?
pearls are more ethically sourced. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
We should
know.
ask Prince about that. He has a story
Yeah.
about it.
I will say now that I have the Switch OLED too,
Uh-huh.
my hype went up even higher because I can't wait to play
Yes.
that game on that beautiful
Ooh.
handheld.
Console's real
so.
nice.
Mine still hasn't arried.
Oh,
Pre-ordered through
no.
GameStop.
Oh, I got yours. I told them to send it to
Yeah.
me, and it's right here. It's right here. This is
Oh.
right.
No, I got the cool one with the
Big
white controllers.
God, damn.
I pre-ordered through
Shade.
GameStop. It was supposed to be same day release date,
Wow.
and it's
Plugging the
not
parent
arriving
company.
until Friday. And then
Wow.
Kayla, just with the dagger in my back, said, "Perks of the job," and I was like, "How dare you? How dare you, Kayla?
Shade.
How dare
Oh
you?"
my goodness. Yeah. Well,
But yeah,
John, I'm glad to hear your preview went well, and then I know reading it and then doing the NGT with you, I am even more excited. And that is almost a month away, which is nutty. I can't believe we're getting to the end of the year already. So cool. Be sure to go check out John's awesome written work on the site. So, Mr. Adams,
Yes.
speaking of dope previews, you got to play the Battlefield beta, Battlefield 2042
Ooh.
beta, correct?
Yes.
Tell me about it, my friend.
As you can tell with the name of the show, I'm a big Battlefield fan. It's actually where the name of the show came from. Was from me playing Battlefield, was actually because I'm a huge Battlefield fan.
Bad Company or 3 or just in general.
4. I mean, 4 is my favorite.
Oh, okay, 4's good.
Nice.
4 is my favorite. That's probably the one that I put the most time into and figured out how everything worked in the most complete ways. So I got a chance to play through the open beta. Played it on PC and on console. And it's a really interesting spot. Like, I think with that game being 30 days out from being out in the world, there's a real kind of like worry from a lot of folks in the community because the beta was in a pretty rough shape. Like, I think, there was a lot of flickering going on no matter which platform you were on. I felt getting into it was fine, like getting in and loading up and was good, but it was like the really small details after coming off a really polished beta experience with Halo, where people had a real expectation now. Like, I think that Halo moment for those flights raised the level of expectation for what these kind of pre-release moments are going to be for everyone in the gaming space. And now you can't come to the space without it feeling not feature complete, but feeling like on point in most of the ways you have an expectation for. So I think Battlefield kind of got out into the world, and the conversation in the scuttlebutt around it was that this was like a pretty old build in terms of what they were kind of showing people in the world. But for folks who jumped in, they were like, I don't care. I don't care if this is supposed to be old. This doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. So For me, there are a bunch of different layers to what I have an expectation for in a Battlefield game, what I'm hoping for with 2042 dropping, that just didn't feel right. So like even from a UI perspective, UI is really jumbled and all. It doesn't feel complete in those ways. Guns feel good to shoot, but they don't feel good when they hit things.
Yeah.
So that didn't feel great in that same way. And it weirdly, things like the biggest part of what this game is kind of bringing to the table in this new iteration is you have so many more people on the battlefield. Raise the level up to 128 players, and it kind of left a lot of people saying like maybe bigger isn't better when it comes to what this particular kind of addition brings to the space. I think for what this game is going to wind up being for this community, which again I'm still even having issues with the bugs and the way things kind of UI stuff not being fully there, and even a bunch of other small kind of things that weren't really on point. I'm still infinitely excited to play this thing. Like Battlefield is going to be the game just because I know what that cadence feels like. I know what that big expansive world battle is going to feel like. It may be a thing where we see the 64-person servers being the ones where most people play as opposed to the 128s, because you'll have more of a feeling of not having to run across the entire landscape to get into a good fight. The one thing I don't know that I've seen them talk about, which is something that I would love to get the devs on the record about, is how are you communicating from squad to squad? Because there aren't big battalions, right, where you're all talking to each other in that way. And unlike Halo, where you have a smaller player count and you have tighter maps and that stuff, I don't have to worry about the people who I'm not playing with in comms in like my 4-person. In Battlefield, you absolutely have to know what your other teammates are trying to do and what they accomplish. Yep. And I haven't seen a way that they've talked about how they're trying to incorporate those parts coming in. They do have the conversation that's happening on the a couple days from now, or a couple days after is released, about Hazard Zone, which is going to be their new mode. But for the main thing that you're going to be in every day, if you're playing Battlefield and large battles, there's going to be fun to be had. I think they really just need to fine tune the moment to moment spaces that you have. They have their Levolution thing with the kind of environmental stuff that plays into it. But as a game where you need to coordinate, I haven't seen the spaces where they've told you the best ways to do so. And I think that's going to be a hard thing for them to kind of crack if they want to really take over the space from Halo, which now feels like it's in the front, the shooter that everyone is really excited about.
It is wild looking at 8 months ago, a year ago, to where things were to where they are now, like perception wise between those two games, because it is night and day. I think Halo has won back a majority of the goodwill, right? And Battlefield's like, ooh, that was a buggy mess, And I do think that's a testament though to 343's ability to communicate and just be like, we goofed, or like, this isn't ready, So I think 343 is doing it the right way.
Just one note, because I know we need to move on, but we did a stream last week, me, Dan and special guests Jesse Vitelli from Prima and Eric Van Allen from Destructoid. We streamed for 2 hours, 2 hours, I think, just right on the money, and didn't see a storm once.
Yeah,
and it rained twice.
Drizzle.
It rained twice in our game. Never had a tornado, and that's like the big, or at least that's what I thought was like the big new feature was the weather systems. Played for 2 hours, rained several times on the map, tornado never came, and I'm like, okay.
I actually don't mind that. I actually don't mind it. I think that's probably better for them. And the only reason I say that, and really quick, because I know we have to pivot, is I don't want that to be the thing you see every time you load up those maps. I want them to feel special. I want them to be those moments where you're like, holy crap, I just had this really epic battle, and then the tornado came, right? So they had that other map with the rocket which I also think is pretty fantastic, and it looks really gorgeous when it goes up and when it explodes. I just don't know how to do that stuff yet, and that'll come like when you learn how the maps work and stuff. But the like actual like weather stuff that's in that space, I don't necessarily know if I want that to be a thing that happens every time that you go into those spaces.
That's a good point. I think I was feeling the content pressure of I'm on stream right now.
Yeah,
I really want a tornado to come so that I can
You're
get the
trying
good
to get
clip.
one for Dan.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you're right.
do it
That's a
Dan.
good point. Maybe like in a real world setting, not on camera, not trying to entertain, like that is more enjoyable for the end user.
I can see the argument that like you would want to have it happen a little bit more often in the beta just to get people like that moment and show people what
beta, we were playing one map over and over and you're just dying for that variation.
But then if you do that for like a weekend and you see it every time or whatever, then you might not want to see it in the real game.
That's fair.
It's what's the balance there? And I think probably airing towards making it more special is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Or making sure it works in general, right? Maybe the build that they had, like, right? If you had if you have a build of it that just doesn't work, you run into it and nothing happens.
Storms are broken.
Yeah. That looks a lot worse than just not having it. Yeah. We forgot to add the destruction feature. So I think the balance needs to be there. I played a couple matches. I wasn't wowed. But I'm looking forward to the end result and seeing what a more recent build looks like. It hasn't tanked my excitement for it. Like, it sounds like the rest of us were on the same page, right? Like this is still a game we're gonna get on day one. Like, you know, or maybe I'm speaking for everyone here, but wrongfully.
I'll get
it.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm still excited. Yeah, but especially after what Alex is about to talk about, the pole position has changed, right, Alex?
Yeah. Halo Infinite. We mentioned it before a couple minutes ago. Dude, it's so good. All these tech tests kept happening on weekends. I was busy or, I didn't really want to play the first tech with just the AI because I'm a dumb person. I was like, I have to have the real person to have fun. And yeah, I finally jumped in, like a week and a half ago. Played with Danny, Pena, Rihanna Manuel, some other friends, and just had a blast, dude. It was so much fun. And Halo's back. Like, it is the small changes, well, not even small, the sweeping changes, I'd say, to a lot of the things like Halo 4, Halo 5, they each made different changes. And I feel like Halo Infinite has looked at the changes that they made previously, like the ADS, that kind of stuff, like how they were approaching that. I feel like that's really fine-tuned in Halo Infinite, and the way that they're using it is smart. It still feels like Halo, but it feels modern, and like the context zooms based on which weapons you're using. It's all really smartly laid out. The grappling hook has no right to be as fun as it is. It is so much fun, and the fact that it's a pickup on the map makes so much sense in the context of Halo. Although I will certainly be when Forge eventually releases, I will certainly be making a like grappling hook only, like sort of all hooks, only shotguns.
There we go. Yeah,
that'll be so much fun. But yeah, I loved it, and I only played I played the big team battle, so it was only on that one. I forget what the map's called, but it's a lot like Valhalla. Fragmentation. Yeah. And like the little secret doors that open up throughout the match that you can go and get the good gear in. That was really fun because it was like, okay, we've got to contest this area, even on when we're not doing like a domination sort of I forget what they call it in Halo. It's been a while.
Did you play Total Control? Is that the
maybe that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I played Total Control and CTF.
Okay.
And in Total Control, it's like that large scale, people that play Call of Duty domination, but it's different from domination where you have to hold all of the points at the same time to win. But anyways, even when that wasn't happening, I found myself gravitating towards certain parts of the map because there was interesting incentives to go outside of even like the normal power up and spawning, got to go contest that. Like the hidden doors, like where I have to hack the door to open it up, and inside's a vault with like power armor and other stuff. It was just like so cool, and it feels like, I mean, it's more Halo, but like it's good Halo. It's like it's 343 knowing like, okay, we're like finally like making our own identity for this game. And sure, it harkens back to a lot of what people love about the old games, but it feels like decidedly new at the same time. And it's a feeling that I haven't had playing Halo in a long time.
And
Even since before like Reach.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I agree.
I wholeheartedly, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, if anyone's out there being like, it's just Halo, we haven't had just Halo in quite some time. It's kind of like what's going on with like Psychonauts and Ratchet, right? Those games feel so fresh and new because we haven't had like platformers like that in a while to that degree, right? And I don't think we've had like a Halo experience like this in quite some time. So I think you're right on the money, and I loved every second that I played of that tech test, which I didn't going into it. I didn't know, you know.
Yeah. At one point, we had 10 people in our Discord call and playing One Flag CTF, and it felt like the old days. I was like, this is so weird. This is the feeling I've been chasing with all these other games, like socially. And yeah, it just felt really great. And I think Halo Infinite is, there's been a lot of things that have been making me come back to Xbox in a big way, like just like their whole ecosystem. But Halo is just, the way it makes me feel. It's like, oh yeah, like I'm remembering what it's like to be like this big Halo fan, and which I haven't had in a long time. And it's like, oh yeah, I was that guy that used to read the Halo books, and I haven't since, for ages. And now it's like kind of rekindling this fandom in me, and in a healthy way. But yeah,
No Halo
I
cards.
can't wait. It's Halo Infinite is now like my most anticipated game of the year, easily. So yeah, I'm ready.
It was even cool seeing on like social media people posting videos of like the sandbox stuff that they're doing in these maps, things that I haven't really seen. I mean, I've been pretty meh on shooters for like 7-ish years or so, and like seeing people just like, oh, I'm gonna toss this grenade under a warthog and then jump in this warthog and make it fly across the map and kill somebody. That's the kind of stuff that I don't really see that much anymore in shooters, especially in the world of like everything's a battle royal, and like those are the sandbox experiences that you get. And seeing like the cool physics stuff, or people uh, grappling onto a ghost and taking that over, and all these like fun emergent moments that I feel like haven't been around in almost a decade. It's just refreshing to see those again, and seeing people just like have pure joy playing Halo.
Makes me happy.
Good time.
The world's a better place.
The
when
last thing we need
everyone's
is a
playing
midnight
Halo.
launch. Like,
Dude.
you tell me
Do it.
when and where, I'm there.
Bro,
Give me a
I-
helmet that's not going to fit my head. I will buy that thing.
Do you remember 07 Halo 3, the Believe campaign? We had the
Yeah.
G4 live midnight launch special.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
that commanded the zeitgeist like nothing else did, maybe till Fortnite.
Can we
like I
do
feel
one
like
of them?
that was just incredible. What?
Can we make that? Can we make that happen? Can we do that? Do we have that power to do
I
our
mean,
own
G4
midnight
is
launch?
back in November. Like,
That's true.
let's reach out to our folks
Yeah,
there and say,
Yeah, we
hey,
know some people.
we need
just
a
had
Halo
Rihanna on.
special. We need a
Yeah.
Halo special.
Yeah.
Like, can you please make this happen for us three? That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy
Let's make it
peasy.
happen. Let's make it happen. Cod, do you have any thoughts before I know we're running out of time here, but
It just feels really good. Like a friend of mine hit me up and was like, "Hey, I'm not into shooters anymore, but can you mess around?" Like that was the question, and I was like, "Yeah, you can." Like in a lot of games, you can't. You can't say that. Like, "Oh, let me play around in the space
Yeah.
while doing the other stuff." And yeah, they're nailing it. I'm super hyped for this. It drops.
oh
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Can't wait.
December can't come soon enough, friends.
Mhm.
Quickly, Alex, you don't even need to timestamp this one. I just wanted to shout out. We're closing the playlist, but I wanted to shout out Artful Escape because I recently beat it through Game Pass. And I think that game is, while light on the actual gameness of it, it's very light platforming. I think that game is incredible. I think it has some of the best visuals of the year. I really identified with the story, with Francis, with his search for identity in a world that is demanding something of him. The music was incredible. The voice acting was fantastic, and that is easily one of the best indies of the year. So I just wanted to give that a quick shout out. I loved my time with Artful Escape. So
Awesome.
yeah. Well, Mr. Adams, unfortunately, I think you have to say goodbye, right?
Sadly,
Get this guy out of here, man.
Sadly, hey, you calm that down, Van Aken. Sadly, my time is up, but as usual, getting a chance to rock with y'all is always a pleasure. I always have amazing amounts of fun when I get a chance to come and hang out with y'all. Please have me back before Paris. That would be great. And I would love to do more cool stuff with you all in the future because you all rock.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. I want to give you one more chance to shout out anything that you want to highlight. You know, what's coming up for Spawn on Me. Where can people find you on social and YouTube and stuff like that? Floor is yours, sir.
Totally. At Kahlief Adams on Twitter, at Spawn on Me on Twitter as well. You can check out our Spawn on Me podcast recordings every Wednesday evening live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Spawn on Me. If you want to watch some NFL games alongside us, you can check those out as well on Thursday evenings around 5 p.m. PST. What I like to call the Chicago Sports Network, or the We're BSing. On Thursday nights. You can check that out as well because we're partnering with the NFL and Twitch show Thursday Night Games. So we'll be doing that every week. Best presentation on the planet. The Spawnies are coming up, our Game of the Year award show. Hopefully towards the end of the year or beginning to be first week in January if it gets pushed. And yeah, we have some cool stuff coming up very, very soon in terms of announcements, cool things we're working on, cool things that I'm kind of poking at. Yeah, we're continuing to try to figure out good ways to get bigger. So please check out our show live every Friday is when the newest episodes of our show goes up on all podcast platforms around the globe. So thank you so much for having me, and check out the show. We have some good stuff for you over here in Chicago.
Love it. Are you doing the NBA show still too?
Yeah, Corner 3 is coming back for the NBA season 2. Yeah, over at the Fanbyte network. So fanbyte.com is where you can check all that stuff out. We're doing our Corner 3 show again, which I'm really excited.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Basketball, because people are like, Kyle, you like basketball? I was like, yes, I do. We're going to talk. So awesome.
Yeah. From one tortured fan base of the Wolves to yours, I appreciate that you do this show. Y'all team looking a lot better than mine. So, all right, sir. Be well. Thank you so much. Viewers, listeners, give Kahlief some love. And we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back for housekeeping and community emails. Thanks, everyone. Welcome back to the GI show. Unfortunately, Kahlief thought it smelled a little too bad in here, so we have to, clean up.
He thought it smelled like Paris is cooking, so
man had to bounce. So
yeah.
it's John Van Aken and Stadnik now. So I don't like referring to myself in the third person. But Alex, what do we got for housekeeping this week?
Yeah, housekeeping this week, of course. If you've been listening, we always started off with a listener review over on Apple Podcasts. If you take the time, leave us an honest review. We're going to read it off and say thank you. And we've got. Thank you. We had a surge of reviews lately, which is great. We only do one per episode, so we've banked some. So if you don't hear your name yet, it's coming. Thank you for doing that for us. We appreciate you. Like NewsHawk08, they gave us a 5-star, saying this is perhaps my favorite podcast ever. Wow, this is me editorializing, but that's big words.
Yeah,
NewsHawk. I've been listening since at least 2016, and I've never once considered dropping it. Over the years, the many hosts of the show have brought their own unique strengths. I love the current crew of various Alexes and others, as their love for games shines through in every show. Here's to another 5 years. NewsHawk08, thank you, my friend, for that very kind review. We appreciate having you as a listener. Thank you for doing us that favor and going to review us on Apple Podcasts. It truly does help us and means a lot that you're willing to do that. So shout out to NewsHawk08. Appreciate you, my friend. Now on to the rest of housekeeping. Upcoming Twitch streams. We've got a Back for Blood stream happening on Thursday at 2 p.m. Twitch.tv/Game Informer. Of course, we stream throughout the week, but Thursday's the day you always know we're going to be streaming. Always Thursday, 2 p.m. That's our weekly Game Informer stream. We've got a replay happening on Fridays usually. And, based on embargo, others crop up throughout the week. So just make sure you're following over at twitch.tv/GameInformer. If you subscribe over there, either with a free Twitch Prime subscription that you get through Amazon Prime or with a paid subscription, that gets you access to our Game Informer official community Discord. It's a great place to be. Lots of great folks. Come hang out with us. Notable YouTube videos of the week. We've got tons of exclusive Saints Row gameplay. We've got a first look at the car combat and driving, the new revamped driving system of Saints Row. That's almost a 4-minute video of different clips showing off what you can do in that game. And then we've got a Saints Row, kind of the world of Santo Eliso. It's a video of just like shots showing off the neighborhoods, the streets, the vistas of Santo Eliso. And what you can expect in the full game. So go check out both of those videos. If you haven't, subscribe to the Game Informer YouTube channel. Of course, social media, you can follow us there. I guess that's what social media is for, right? Following people, talking to people. You can follow our host, Alex Stadnik, at Stadnik76. You can follow me at It's Van Aken. That's ITSVAN, and follow our friend here, John Carson, at John_Carson. Tell him how handsome he is and how he's the true king of late night. Of course, Kahlief left, but you can find him at Kahlief Adams. That's KAHLIEF Adams ADAMS. So go follow Ka, give him some love. Then we'd be remiss if we didn't mention our 2 new podcasts that have recently launched on the we can call it the podcast network now. We've got the GI podcast network. We've got multiple podcasts now. Of course, last week Shay was on to talk about all things Nintendo, which is our new, you guessed it, Nintendo focused podcast covering all sorts of Nintendo news, the Nintendo topics. Shay has been covering Nintendo for most of his career in the games industry, and now he has his own show. It's great. Go listen to it. Go check it out every week. I think it comes out every Friday, right, Alex?
Every Friday at 3, I think, is the targeted time.
Awesome.
And I'll be on this week.
Perfect. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
And, the new Animal Crossing Direct that happens on Friday. So
awesome.
We're trying to stay current with that hot Nintendo news.
There you go. Of course, if you missed it, Ben Reeves, former host of the GI show, is on to greener pastures. He is not leaving, but he started his own podcast.
Wait a second.
Yeah. He started a new podcast for Game Informer. It's called Video Gameography. It's GAMEOGRAPHY. Video Gameography. It's our new podcast. It's focused on video game history. It's going to be a serialized podcast with different seasons. Each season focuses on one particular game series, and they dive into its history, the making of it, like just its cultural relevance. The first season is all about Metroid. So if you're hyped for Metroid Dread, this is the perfect time to check out our new show, Video Gameography, on Apple Podcasts. Go subscribe to that. Leave those reviews. That really helps them out with their new shows. We appreciate you for doing that. And yeah, that's the housekeeping this week. Sorry to keep it so long, but we got a lot of stuff going on.
I was gonna say
at a Game Informer.
I thought you did a really good job.
Listen, I was trying to speed run it, y'all. But Alex, I think it's time for listener emails. I'll give it to you.
Boop doop doop boop. Listener emails, yeah. Doop doop boop.
Go into the Mario bit after that. The Mario.
Listener
emails.
Woohoo! Oh, Chris Pratt, y'all.
Thank God Kahlief's gone now.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to embarrass myself
in
front of that. You don't like when I do music things.
I don't.
I love it. Please.
And also, to be honest, it sounds like the kind of funny one. So I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to step on their toes. If I'm being honest,
that's true. We make
so if we're gonna come up with a jingle,
we can do it better.
Let me pull up my guitar, dude. I could. If you want some jingles, I'll get my acoustic.
I want all your jingles.
We can write an actual song.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I'll get the condenser mic set up on the guitar. We'll do it right.
All right. I can dig it. Listener emails section, ladies and gentlemen. This is the part of the show where y'all write in either through podcast@gameinformer.com or on our fancy Discord channel. And how, pray tell, do you get access to the Discord channel, Mr. Van Aken?
By subscribing to our Twitch page. You can do that with your free Amazon Prime subscription, which you get through, Amazon Prime. That gives you Twitch Prime for free. You get a free monthly subscription. You can give it to us to get access to the Discord one time.
Yep.
One time subscription gets you in. or give it to your favorite streamer. I don't care.
Yeah.
But that's how you get in.
Yeah, give it to us 1 month, and then once you're in the Discord, you can go give it to Ka. That'd be great.
Yep, that'd be great.
That's fun on me. But so if you want to get your questions answered, either right into the email or into the Discord, like Matt from Philly, near Philly, did in an email to us. He said, what horror game would benefit from removing the horror, and what non-horror game would benefit from adding horror? Now, I think, John Carson, you like a good spooky game or two, right?
I do occasionally. This may sound weird. I thought about this a lot today. Because I know a lot of horror games, like that is their crux, is the horror element. And I feel like a game that these days could probably do without the horror stuff is Condemned. Which was like this first person investigation game for the 360, and it did have some weird horror stuff in there, but I like the idea of just being like an investigator, kind of doing the Phoenix Wright, finding clues and Batmaning through an environment and just trying to solve a crime that way. I don't know if, like, especially these days, if like the spookiness holds up with Condemned. I haven't played it in probably a decade, but that was something that never really landed for me in that series. So I could be completely wrong here. So I guess let me know about it. Everyone who's a big Condemned fan these days.
All three of them are coming after you.
I don't have a good answer for what horror game should remove the horror. Just because like that is such a specific.
It is a weird thing to like try to extract. It's like, oh, do I take the horror out of Until Dawn and it's just a bunch of teenagers at a nice ski resort,
right?
Yeah.
But also, it's like it is integral to the design of the game. It's like I feel like that's kind of asking if you took the guns out of a first person shooter. You know?
Yeah. So I don't have an answer for that one because also the horror games I'm thinking of wouldn't work without the horror.
Which ones kind of come to mind for you right away though? Like where
Dead
you're
by
like,
Daylight,
sure.
PT.
PT would be interesting because that's just a
walking simulator.
Yeah. Resident Evil, although Resident Evil 5 is a non-horror game that needs some horror in it, let me tell you.
That's true. That is an action game.
Yeah. What else comes to mind? I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna deflect
that one part of Metal Gear Solid 5 did not need to be as scary as it was. Maybe that's my answer for that part.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What about games you want to see horror in? Should we move on?
I think Splinter Cell, if we got a new Splinter Cell. Sam is very much always this calculated, he's always in control of the situation. And typically the only time you are out of control is if you did something wrong. It'd be really cool to see Sam placed in a, horrific environment where suddenly like he is no longer the expert. Like he is trying to just stealth his way through and survive. And I think that could be a really cool like moment in a Splinter Cell game. I don't think the whole game needs to be that, but like, I think it'd benefit a lot if there's like, a moment that like, I don't know what it would be, but like just something horrific that you have to get through during one level, I felt like Sekiro, spoilers for Sekiro, not huge spoilers, but spoilers nonetheless. The snake was like this unexpected horror element. Even though the whole game has like elements of horror to it, it's a terrifying environment, but I didn't necessarily feel scared most of the time.
Right.
Until the snake, and the snake was awful. And I thought it was really effective because it was like this quick 5-minute section, but it like stuck with me. I still think about it. And I think something like that in Splinter Cell could be cool.
Are you afraid of snakes?
Horrified.
Oh, I see. I did not know that about you.
Like if I see like a snake on TV, I will physically like recoil. Like have you seen those videos where like snakes like attack the camera?
Yeah.
Like on TikTok and like those, like I would literally jump out of my seat. I didn't used to be that way. I used to I remember like back at like the school fair, I would like pet the snakes and the pythons, and I used to like hold snakes in my hand at like petting zoos, whatever. The little milk snake or whatever. Now I'm just like horrified of them.
I'm very curious on what the turning event in your life was that made that way.
It was Sekiro.
Yeah.
I've been rattled at by rattlesnakes before. That's pretty
That's
disarming.
Be unsettling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Just in general, I don't like snakes.
Yeah.
They're too sneaky, you know?
You get it.
They can just show up
Snake.
places. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sneaky snake. That was unintentional.
Yeah, I picked up on it. Gotcha.
Going
Interesting.
back to the Splinter Cell comparison there. Did you ever play Pandora Tomorrow and the multiplayer in there?
What, Spies vs. Mercs?
Yeah, Spies, like the original Spies versus Mercs.
I didn't play it until Chaos Theory, the game after.
Gotcha. So
Why?
like that does have like a little horror element to it if you are playing as a mercenary, because like everything's dark, you're using like your night vision stuff to even like kind of see the spies coming through, but like
Yeah.
spies will just like pop out from like the ceiling and like take you out. You
Yeah.
never know like where something is. You're listening for footsteps or like little sounds everywhere. Man, Pandora Tomorrow multiplayer is so good. Let's bring that back. Let's just make that the next Splinter Cell, and add
I
a little
love
bit
that.
more horror to it.
I miss Spies. It's my favorite multiplayer mode, I think.
It's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good. I wanted to bring that up earlier when we were talking about Back for Blood, and
Yeah.
like that multiplayer experience needed to be a little bit more different and mysterious for like the mutants or whatever they're called in Back for Blood, the zombies,
The Ridden.
Like it needed to be a little bit more like the spies, and then your opposing team needed to be just more like basic first person shooter dudes, which you kind of are already. But
Back for Blood is actually might be an answer for. Sorry to interrupt, John.
Yeah,
Of
no,
the game that needs a little more horror to it.
sure. Is that a little bit more action? Too much action for you than horror? Like it needs some.
Don't get me wrong. There are
dark
moments where
eyes
I'm stressed out, but I am never scared.
The only time the sleepers are the only time that I've yelped, but there has been a couple of times where they got me. Those are the things that hang on the wall, and if you're not careful, they grab you really quickly. But I agree. There's no, if I'm loving it and reviewing it, it's not that scary. I can assure you.
Yeah.
So
the scariest thing for me in the beta was the timer on the boat as we were like trying to set those charges, and like that was it. Like it was really
stress.
Right,
Mhm.
right. That it wasn't
Attention.
so much the zombies. It was that we're gonna fail if this timer goes out. So
Yeah. So
for sure, I don't have a good answer like Alex said for the first part of the question. I don't know what this game would be, but I do think a lot about how horrific some of the descriptions are for some Pokemon.
mm-hmm.
And I know we have talked about like Cubone, like that story is sad. But like, have y'all ever read the like Pokedex entries for Mimikyu?
Yeah.
It is horribly sad. Like it's this Pokemon thinks it's like so ugly it needs to hide under the cloth or whatever to mimic being a Pikachu to be loved. But then if you even glance at it without its cloth on or whatever, it kills you. And someone fact checked me on this, but like I'm pretty sure, because I think Jessica Howard wrote like the demented backstories behind some of these Pokemon. There's some wild stuff that they just like threw into a children's game. So I don't know what that game looks like. Like I don't know if we're doing like the Evil Within, but with Pokemon, right? But like there's some weird thought that's being put into these backstories that are very tragic and scary. Like,
yeah.
Can you imagine being like seeing a Mimikyu with like the ding 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 like music going on? Like I don't know, like and then just it
like that. What was the
attacks you
tower
and-
in Red and Blue? Or was it
not Lavender Town.
Yeah, it's Lavender Town.
Lavender Town. Yeah,
the tower. Like that was creepy as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that music is so good. So just like something that dives into, I mean, Pokemon is very much looking at a PG max rating, right? But like, I'm just curious. I'm curious what they would do with a focus on what someone would do with a focus on some of the more disturbing elements of Pokemon. You know,
Here's a Pokedex entry for Drifloon, which is a ghost Pokemon that looks like a balloon. Stories go that it grabs the hands of small children and drags them away to the afterlife. It dislikes heavy children.
So
That's
I'm
messed
good.
up, dude.
I'm good. It wouldn't worry about me then.
Have no fear.
I love that they wrote
nice.
it, and it does not like heavy children.
I mean,
That's incredible because they didn't say fat; they just said heavy.
No,
So it could be
heavy.
like the muscle bound boys, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. There's some
Like,
messed
I
up
got it.
stuff out there. Go Google like disturbing Pokemon Pokedex entries.
There's
But
plenty.
yeah, a good fun party conversation for video game Halloween stuff. So moving right along, this comes from and then thank you, Matt, for that question. That was fun.
Thanks, Matt.
From Discord, one mean Leafeon machine writes in and says, "Hi, GI crew. I recently was able to obtain some SNES or SNES if you're Van Aken copies, and I wanted for over half my life. FF3, Castlevania 4, Mega Man X, Mario RPG, and Super Metroid. The level of excitement was over the charts getting them the same day. I was also able to secure a Metroid Dread Special Edition, which I could not believe happened. I'm jealous. My question is, are any of you big on collecting, whether it's games, comics, statues? If so, what part of your collection is your favorite, and what is your current holy grail? I thought this would be perfect for you two, even though we kind of already talked about it a little bit earlier today.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess I can go.
Yeah.
So I don't find myself collecting games as much as I used to. I ended up. I mean, I was a broke 20 something, so I ended up selling a lot of my games and work like going from game to game that way. There were times where I'd buy collector's editions and then they would just like sit there, do nothing, or I'd bring them to work or something and get broken, like my Big Daddy statue from the from the
no.
BioShock collector's edition.
Oh,
Yeah, so stuff like that. Like eventually I realized for me it's not worth the money. But my most recent stuff that I've started buying physical games again,
mhm.
and I have a podcast outside of Game Informer where we talk about random games every week, and sometimes we'll try to purchase those games to play them to talk about them. So I've been trying to collect games that we've talked about on that podcast,
Mhm.
and like that's kind of that's me rebuilding my collection for the future, whether that's stuff that I'm doing at GI or my own streams or whatever. Just like it's cool to have old games around. I think and playing stuff on original hardware. That's awesome.
Mhm. Yeah.
I would say my holy grail for everything that I own is my my original copy of Earthbound for Super Nintendo. I don't have the box anymore. I gave it to my brother-in-law who sold it for some money, and it's my go-to for my favorite game of all time, and it was something that drew me closer to friends in my old state and here in Minnesota as well. So Earthbound is definitely my holy grail for my collection.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Alex, have you had time to go through your card collection here?
Yeah, I mean, jokes aside, like this has been a very recent thing for me.
Those are super
Um,
cool though.
Yeah, like within the last also for the audio listeners who missed it, I'm talking about Pokemon cards. I've started collecting within like the last 2 months, maybe like three months. Yeah, last 3 months, and
That's
it's
it.
kind of just like rekindled. I feel like I wanted a hobby outside of our job, and even though I'm here, I'm mentioning it on our show. It has no bearing on my job. Like I can just
Mhm.
like collect something and have a hobby that is about something that I love. I love Pokemon. I love, this is games related, but it's not games. Like I don't have to write a review on this Blastoise card, right? Like this is just something for my enjoyment. And I'm also a guy like if I'm collecting things, I I do like to have like some sort of return on investment if possible. So like if I'm collecting, that's why I don't collect. I used to like hoard like new games and then like those don't carry value anymore or they never really did like new games.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
if I've got all the Batman Arkham games, that'll give me what, like $1.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, maybe 20 years from now, but I just
Right.
don't have the room for all that. These are small.
Mhm.
And I already have like this stack of cards in my hand is worth almost $300.
Check them
And
over.
yeah, right. And I got lucky. And Pokemon's weird because it's like, oh, well, is that gambling? I don't think so because I have something physical to show for my collecting efforts, and it's collecting, right? Like even if I never sold these cards, I have personal enjoyment in it, right? Like it's a fun hobby. I like having, I don't keep all the cards. I'm actually giving some away to Kayla's coworker's son.
Cool.
But like I have my collection of the Pokemon that means something to me, or I think the art is cool, like I've got this Charizard card from like 2007 that I still have, and it's like bent to crap. And like this would not sell, right? But I have this one in like protective case, and like it's like one of my favorite cards. I think my brother gave it to me. It was like his only card he had, and it's like this awesome Charizard card. I don't know. There's just something that kind of taps into that like nostalgia for me
Yeah.
as of late, and it's something that like I can like ebb and flow. Like maybe I won't buy a pack for 6 months, but I can always pick it back up and add to my collection. So yeah, I just enjoy it. It's been a recent form of happiness for me. I have to be careful because it's easy to just keep buying packs.
It's true. It's very true.
I was astounded that I was like, oh, these packs are only $4. Like, might as
Yeah.
well get 2 or 6.
Yeah,
Buy a
yeah.
whole box. It's like $80.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I've really
that was
enjoyed collecting those.
that was kind of my hobby like 3 or 4 years ago. I started getting really into like I started watching people open up Pokemon cards on like YouTube and
Yeah.
streams, and started like buying some myself again because I played the game back in like base set days. I'd go to like
Okay,
the
yeah.
Mall of
Me
America
too.
and play in like tournaments and stuff there.
Same.
Yeah, so it like there was like definite nostalgia for me, but like eventually I was like, I'm not actually doing anything. I wasn't collecting them to collect them. I was collecting them because I liked the feeling of opening something good. And like the cards afterwards, at least for Pokemon cards, weren't really doing much for me. So I moved on to Magic. Magic was another game that I kind of played in high school and was fond of and played with my friends. And at the time, I was at a point where I wasn't like hanging out with a lot of my friends, and so I ended up going to a local game store and learning how to draft Magic, and just I'd go like twice a week and go and learn how to play the game just from the packs themselves that you buy, and it's been my go-to hobby ever since. Like I play Magic damn near every day, so um, yeah, I have a big fondness for card games, and I'm really glad that you're finding something cool to do with your Pokemon cards and that you enjoy. I really like seeing you like show off all of your cool pulls, and like was it like you showed like pictures with your brother, I believe,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And like like showing the pulls between you two, and that's really awesome. I'm really glad that you've found that and that you're enjoying it.
Yeah, the next step is getting into the actual game, which I used to play a lot of Magic too, so there's like there's a temptation there.
Yes.
So maybe we'll talk.
Yeah.
But I think as far as collecting, I'll probably, of course, I say this now. Like if I'm gonna play Magic, I want to go after stuff that'll be fun for a deck.
Totally.
I know. Whereas this might just be like, oh, I like these Pokemon. Let me collect these cards.
Right.
But like, I think the game of Magic is much more fun than the game of Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
I've been keeping an eye on your adventures and Magic and growing a curiosity for it. But yeah, so card games. Sorry, I've rambled long enough. I like Pokemon cards
this
now.
is beautiful. No, I mean that's the great part of collecting. I feel like so much we hear so much online these days about the people who are elbowing children at McDonald's to get cards, right? And I think for a lot of people, it's not that intense. It's a connection that we build between one another, like you and your brother, Alex. Like I think that that's what makes this special and not as gross. It's not what I just said. So I loved it. It was great.
I mean, I have like shoved over a couple toddlers.
Yeah, you tried to choke me out for my.
Been there anyways.
Yeah. What are you doing here, dude?
Yeah.
Are you supposed to be at school?
Get out of here. I guess for me, collecting has never been that big of a thing. I think my biggest collection I have currently is movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4K Blu-rays, and for me, it's more so just like having the physical media of film experiences that I love, right? You know, I still have, I'll boot up Spider-Man 2 on DVD or like Shrek 2 or something from like my childhood, and
Yeah.
I love having that physical media because I know it's mine in some capacity, right? And movies are even more different than video games, at least DVDs. I can't speak to Blu-rays, but like even if the Blu-ray servers are shut off, I can still watch that movie, right? Like it's still mine, and I can hold on to that, whether it's the nostalgia of seeing it with friends or family, or if it's just a great movie. And I've started to dabble in like Criterion Collection, which is for those who don't know, it's a film curation company, I guess you call them, but they work with different studios to pull some of the more iconic films and like film in an artistic way, not like Marvel movies, right? Not disparaging Marvel movies.
Important, to film in general.
Parasite.
Parasite, Citizen Kane.
Godzilla.
I have Grand Budapest Hotel and Roma. Roma was special too because that's only a Netflix movie, right? So the fact that I could physically buy that, a movie that made me sob uncontrollably, like that was special to me. So so I used to collect Pokemon cards when I was a kid, and I have a lot more Yu-Gi-Oh cards over there, but that's because you guys talked about, I played the game. I played with my friends, but then when the school started to outlaw them and we started to get older, like card games weren't cool, so I stopped.
Yeah.
My parents also got sick of buying me cards,
You got older, you had to get a job to buy your own cards. So
yeah. And I wanted to buy video games instead. What a nerd, right?
Kill Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, like exactly. Like, yeah, Reservoir Dogs or a shiny Pikachu. Sweet. That was really, I like that. That was a good section. So we're gonna do one more and then we're gonna say goodbye. So, and this is a little bit of a curveball, but one of our lovely email senders. Oh, also thank you, Leafeon, for that email. We appreciate it.
Yeah, shout out to you.
One last one from podcast@GameInformer.com. This comes from Derek Meyer. And Derek really wants to kind of get to know, Alex and I still recently took this show over. So he wants to know what our favorite games/series are. And he says, I want to start off by saying congrats to Alex and Alex for taking over the show. I'm absolutely loving the changes so far. Thanks to everyone at GI for keeping up the good work throughout COVID. It's been hard on anyone. And he just wants to get to know, what makes us gamers. So, Alex, what are your 3 favorite series?
3 favorite series: Warcraft, with World of Warcraft at the top of the list.
Yep.
More so like the earlier game, not so much now. Halo, is Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3. I mean, I really all of them. I love Halo. And then probably, I would have used to say Gears of War, but not so much. I've kind of slept on the recent releases.
Should we play those? Should we get
maybe you absolutely should. They're some of the best in the series.
Yeah.
And then I could say Zelda, but really it's like Breath of the Wild, and I've gone back to some of them. But as far as series, I think Animal Crossing.
Okay, sure. Nice.
Or Splinter Cell is up there, or Roller Coaster Tycoon. There's too many, but those are some.
Okay. So wait, so would you say Animal Crossing then?
Yes.
Okay.
I would.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
John, how about you? What are your 3 favorites?
Mine are a little bit all over the place. So we talked about it before. We've talked about it a lot this week. But Pokemon has kind of been with me since Red and Blue. That was when I got my first Game Boy as a Game Boy Color, and got copies of both. Don't know why. But yeah, I've been playing every entry of Pokemon since it came out. Still a fan. It's one of those games that has made me not really take on that outlook that certain games are for kids. most games are for everybody. I can find something I like in most things. So that's one of the series that I'm super into. And then when it comes to like just pure excitement for new iterations of things, Mortal Kombat's really high on my list.
Hmm.
Really,
Mhm.
ever since high school, I started getting really into the lore of Mortal Kombat. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Deadly Alliance was like I was on I was online every day during school whenever like I had a computer in front of me, like looking for new news on which characters were going to be in it, what was going on with them, or like going into Deception when you started going into the different realms and stuff, learning about all the realms and characters of Mortal Kombat and piecing all those things together.
Yeah.
It really was like exciting to me, and it's that's also stuck with me through the last 5 iterations of that series. So Mortal Kombat is up there as well. And then for my third one, I would probably also go for Warcraft. World
Oh,
of
wow.
Warcraft is really high up there for me. I'll just listen to lore podcasts. Shout out to the good folks over at Blizzard Watch who do great great work with Lore Watch, which is just like weekly. They'll talk about different subjects in the World of Warcraft or just other Blizzard properties as well, and like go like deep dive on characters and uh uh, like wars or conflicts that have happened, or just like deeper lore inquiries of what they think happened or didn't happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That stuff is really cool to me, and I will listen to that like if I'm not even actively playing any of those games. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I would go with Warcraft as well.
Nice. I
What about
think
you, Alex?
I think for me, y'all have hit 2 of my 3, and Halo being, duh. I think anyone who's watching this knew where I was going with that, but like Halo to me is formative years in gaming. It is inspired my taste and my passion for this industry, unlike many games and series have. Um, Pokemon is in the same light, whereas like Halo was kind of the thing that pushed it from hobby to passion. Pokemon is the thing that started that, right? It started with Pokemon Yellow, getting my own Game Boy, feeling like an older kid, right? Like that really kicked things off for me in a way where I literally wouldn't be here today. You know what I mean? If that hadn't happened. So this last one is hard because there's a couple of series that popped into my head, but I think I'm actually going to lean God of War as a
Mm.
series, because I think they've done. Because I was like, maybe Last of Us, maybe Bioshock, but like, Last of Us is only 2 games. Bioshock, 2 out of the 3 I really love.
Mhm.
I don't. 2 is a better game than people think it is. Um, but I think God of War, that first trilogy, I thought, well, it's probably some of it hasn't aged super well today. The best action in games, at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did in 2018 God of War was exceptionally special from a storytelling perspective without losing that amazing sense of action and how good it felt to smash ancient baddies. You know what I mean? Like, and they got to do it on a much grander scale, which is wild, especially after God of War 3, where I was like, we will never have a bigger moment in video games than fighting on Gaia. Like, it's just not going to happen. And then it happened. Um, so I would say, from a gameplay perspective, from a storytelling perspective, now God of War is something truly, truly special. So um, that was lovely.
Awesome.
I think we know each other. What? Do you feel that?
No, what?
Do
Wait,
you feel
what?
that? What's
Huh?
happening?
Is it The Rock?
Huh? God of video games? What are you doing here? Prompt. Oh no, the gods of the gaming industry have tricked you. They want to make a decision regarding your favorite games. This is from the email.
Oh, this is part of the question?
This is part of the question still. One game must be remade. Specifically remake, not remaster. One game gets a sequel, and one game/series is wiped away from history and cannot be played again. Have fun. Derek Mayer.
What an evil person.
Wow.
Well, Jets, the gods of games has tricked us again. So once again, out of the 3 you just listed,
Yeah.
one game must be remade.
Mm-hmm.
one game / series. So one series needs to be remade, one gets a sequel, and one is gone forever. So I know I sprung this on y'all,
Sure.
but I am curious what you would do. This is kind of a harken back to like Kiss, Marry, Kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the Andy Mack days, but I thought it could be fun. So I can take this this blow first if need be.
Yeah, I think so.
So okay. So so a remake, a sequel, and being wiped away. I think. See, because Pokemon has received many a remake,
Many remakes. Yes.
many remakes. So has Halo. Halo 1 and 2 both have remakes that are very good. I just played them recently.
Mm-hmm.
God of War 1 has not received a remake. So like logically that makes sense, but then I have to kill off either Halo or Pokemon, and I don't know if I want to do that. I think I'm going to take the coward's way out, and I'm going to remake Halo 3. I think that falls under my remake category, because I'm playing through Halo 3 right now, and some of those face models don't hold up after 14 years, which reasonably so. I'm not going to, my face isn't going to hold up well in 14 years. Like it's a fact of aging, right? So
it's made it this far.
It's made it this far, yeah. Okay, so that leaves I have a kill off and a sequel.
You know in your heart what this is.
But see, that's the hard part. It's like they don't exist anymore. Like if it just wasn't getting a sequel, that's fine. I have to kill God of War. It's gone.
Oh,
gone
from
existence. Really, it truly is. Probably what Kratos would want at this point in his life. That man has done some truly putrid stuff.
He's died a few times.
He's died a few times. I just don't think. I mean, Pokemon's getting sequels regardless, but like, I just don't know where I would be as a gamer without it, from wiping it from my history. Right? I'd look like Marty McFly towards the end of Back to the Future. Oh, I think that's it. So remake Halo, specifically Halo 3, sequel to Pokemon, and wipe God of War from the face of the earth. Sad boy Stadnik. That's me. Y'all are languishing.
I'm gonna do sequel to Halo.
Okay.
You got it, man.
You're getting it.
Month and a half. Let's go.
Yeah, sequel to Halo.
Existence.
2 months.
Oh, this is tough, dude.
Mm-hmm. This one was
because
really
on one hand, I love World of Warcraft. Do I get to remember my time with the game if it's wiped from existence or no?
Let's see.
Existence. Poof. It's
so
done.
Did not exist.
Let me look. The specific wording is one game / series is wiped away from history and cannot be played again. So
okay.
But if it's wiped away from history, that means you wouldn't have played it.
Yeah, I can't remember it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, then this choice sucks, but it's made for me. I have to wipe away Animal Crossing.
Bro, I don't know how I get through the pandemic without that.
Same.
Oh no.
I had to wipe away Animal Crossing this week when I switched to the OLED because I don't want to go through the process of transferring my island over. So
oof.
New island time, baby.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, start fresh.
Yeah.
So okay, sorry, Alex. So say yours again.
Sequel to Halo. Because God, I don't know.
I mean, you said it. It's been
sequel to Halo. Wipe Animal Crossing from existence, and a remake of Warcraft in some way.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna say I want a remake of World of Warcraft, where like they erase everything.
You want it to be New World of Warcraft?
Yeah, exactly. New assets, new World of Warcraft, new everything. Yeah. Remake it all. Start from scratch again.
Be done with it.
Mm-hmm. And not like this like re-release of like some remakes like almost like reimagine. Mm-hmm. You know, some remakes are like very like close to source material, and others are like, no, this is like just a completely new thing, just with the same name. I want that with World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. But yeah, those are my answers. That was hard, dude. I feel
Yeah.
awful. I
Yeah,
love
right.
Animal Crossing.
I feel sick to my stomach that I'm not going to see the end of Kratos and Atreus. But that's the nice thing about this question. It's not actually real, even though the god of games is staring me in the eyes right now. They're not happy. So
John, you have to make your choices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alex, I have some bad news for you because I'm going to wipe World of Warcraft from history. It's gone.
no.
I can get that same depth of lore elsewhere, I think.
Mm,
Maybe they make a World of StarCraft instead.
there we
We,
go.
we could live in that world. I would like to see a remake of, let's go back to it, Mortal Kombat Deception. Probably their most grandiose single player campaign that wasn't like a cinematic story mode. I really like the path that they've gone down, but I would love to see them tackle the different realms of Mortal Kombat again. And then just give me a sequel to Pokemon.
We
Any
align
day.
then.
Any
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
All
Give
days.
us more. Give us Pokemon
I'm
Legends.
glad I didn't say Pokemon because I almost
Lugia.
did.
I
And I would've
cannot
had
get rid
to-
of Pokemon. There's
Jeez.
no way. I don't have the heart.
Dude, and then your cards would like disappear in front of you. How
They
sad would
will.
that have been? No. All right. Well, shout out to Derek. A hard question, but one that I thought was worth it. So thank you, Derek. Alex, John, thank you for joining me. This has been a wonderful episode of the GI Show. And if you
Yes.
enjoyed it, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, especially subscribe on Apple Podcasts. We feel that more than you know, and we really appreciate when you sub and leave an honest review. So we appreciate that. But we appreciate our Spotify listeners. I personally listen on the Zune Marketplace I've seen. So like, thank you to everyone who listens. Down with the Zune. Yeah. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Go follow Ka on Twitter, on Twitch, the whole thing. He's doing some really important, awesome work. And keep it locked to GI for Saints Row, for whatever the next cover is. Like, we have so much good stuff in the pipeline. So
I know
thank
what the
you.
next cover is.
Do you?
I do. Somebody told me. It's pretty cool.
It is. I can confirm it's pretty cool.
That?
Yeah. Well,
Eventually.
we'll talk after this.
All right. Fair.
Be good to one another, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you.